Join the Cougar Collective today, your home base for all NIL opportunities, connecting student athletes, fans, and business owners. Join the 1890 Club for as little as $18.90. You can also make a one-time donation. And if you're a business, you can collaborate your brand. Also, drink the Old Crimson Legendary Lager brewed by Pike Brewing. Sales benefit the Cougar Collective. Visit cougarcollective.org. Go Cougs! Welcome in. It's another edition of the Old Crimson Cougars Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by the Cougar Collective, your home base for all NIL opportunities, connecting student athletes, fans, business owners. Join today. The 1890 Club, folks, $18.90. That's all it's going to cost you. Most and accessible and best way to support the Cougar NIL. You can also make a one-time donation if you so choose. You can also, if you're a business, collaborate on your brand. And you can drink the Old Crimson Legendary Lager brewed by Pike Brewing. Sales benefit the Cougar Collective. And you can benefit the Cougar Collective by attending the November 21st game in Spokane, Washington. Cougs taking on Eastern Washington, and the portions of the gate will go and benefit the Cougar Collective. Go to the Cougar Collective, go to cougarcollective.org. Also check them out on Twitter with more information on that game. Also, Flat Stick Pub, Cougar owned and operated. They got 6 amazing locations across the state: Kirkland, Pioneer Square, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. Great place for date night, guys night, ladies night, large group event. Great for kids. Of course, great place to watch the Cougs and celebrate the Cougs. Flatstickpub.com. Paul Sorensen, you can follow him on Twitter, Paul Sorensen28. And of course, Jim Moore, the Go-To-Guy, you can follow him on Twitter at CougsGo. Well, we normally record this in the early afternoons on a Tuesday, but we waited because the college football playoff rankings came out. So we wanted to wait and do the show after the rankings came out to see where our school is. America's team was ranked, and they come in at number 21. Thought they'd be 19th or 20th, whatever. They're 21st. The only gripe I think he could have is why is Colorado ahead of them at 6-2 and 20th. Paul, you saw him at 21. What was your reaction?
I thought they should have been higher. I thought 19-20 would have been right, kind of in the wheelhouse, and the fact that freaking Colorado's in front of us after the ass clown stomping from last year that I think Shador is still trying to heal up from, and Dion will never want to come back to Pullman ever again in the history of mankind, but whatever. They're basically, it's the Colorado, Deion Sanders, love fest that continues, and, who cares? I think you guys have been talking about this thing all week. Washington State is still relevant. This is the first time WSU has ever been ranked in the college football playoff thingy that they have. First time. So keep winning, keep doing good stuff, get to 11-1, let the carnage take place. They got to talk about Washington State. We're not dead in the ditch. That's what I love about it. So, yay!
Yeah, that's what I like about it, Jim, is that, listen, wherever this goes, I mean, who knows? Let's see how far they climb up. I mean, but it's fun to talk about.
So yay. Yay. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. No, I'm okay with 20.
Oh God, we have Debbie Downer today. That's right. Forgot he doesn't want the Cougs in the college football playoffs.
No, I'm giving Sorensen shit about, with the, so yay. No,
do you pull for USC to win too now, Jim? What other schools do you want to win to make Washington State look bad?
How much mileage is Puck trying to get out of that?
Oh, it worked.
We'll get into it because it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a Cougar. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a Cougar fan say in my life.
How many games has Puck been to this year? That would be one. How many games has Jim been to? That would be 3.
Who has? Raise your hand if you have season tickets to the Cougs.
I can't raise my hand for that.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't raise my hand for that. Yeah.
Hey, how many members of the Cougar Collective? Raise your hand.
What can I say? I'm still Cougar.
Jim, raise your hand. Cougar Collective, you're a member of. Put your hand up.
I can't do it.
So, Jim, are you excited that they were ranked, or are you not because you don't want them to be in the playoffs?
No, God, I was hoping that they'd be well out of the rankings because I hate the Cougs, man. I can't stand them. I've always hated them for 50 years. Ever since I was a freshman in 1974, I thought, what the fuck am I doing going to school here? I mean, what a piece of shit place this is. Yeah. That's how I felt about it. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, well, I mean,
welcome back.
You
all these people that call it America's team and God's country and all that bullshit.
It's America's team.
It's a hellhole is what it is. Pullman's a hellhole. Is that better?
Greatest place in the world.
Come on.
Football's invented.
So I don't know. I'm honestly asking, were you excited they were in it or not?
Well, yes, I'm excited that they're in it.
I don't know.
They're 21st, and I'm with you guys. I think Colorado gets the benefit of the doubt because they've got Coach Prime. It's, whatever. I mean, I don't like seeing Pitt at 18. Aren't we better than Pitt? I didn't like that. I don't really like seeing Boise State at 12. I was hoping that they might be a little higher. But all in all, though, I think we're in good shape, and I'm looking forward. It makes it, even with Colorado being ahead of us, that game against Texas Tech this week is a huge one for us because we need Texas Tech to win and Colorado to lose. And Texas Tech's a 3.5-point home underdog, and I'm hoping that it's going to end up working out.
Yeah, I'm with you on Pitt. I'm not really would love to know what they have in Pitt and why they think Pitt is number 18, but I have no idea how this all shakes out. Didn't they just get
smoked by SMU?
Yeah, they did the final score. I don't know if that game was closer than it really was. I mean, Wazoo got smoked by Boise State, but if you watch the game, it was close.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying. Let's shit.
But that's what I'm saying. It was a much closer game if you'd actually watched it.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. So. But yeah, I mean, whatever. They're gonna continue to be talked about every week. Knock on wood, they don't kick a game. They got Utah State coming up on this weekend, and then they'll go New Mexico. Then they'll get the Beavs, and they'll get Wyoming. They will be significant favorites in all of those games. The likelihood they will go 11-1 if they don't kick themselves and stub their toe. And so each week that they'll be up there, can they gain enough ground to get in that top 12? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a long shot. If they go 11-1, they still only have a 34% chance of getting in. They're going to need carnage in front of them, and carnage, Paul, starts this weekend. Texas Tech needs to knock off Colorado. They need to eliminate the Buffaloes as fast as they can this weekend, and also you need LSU at home to knock out Alabama. So you can slowly but surely start picking off some of these teams, and for games that you start watching this weekend, like you want Georgia to go into Oxford and knock off Ole Miss. That eliminates Ole Miss. They're done. And, other stuff like somehow Kansas at home could pull off a shocker and knock off Iowa State. Then Iowa State's done. So there's a lot of scoreboard watching, Paul, for Cougs.
Do you want Washington to go in and beat Penn State?
Well, I do, but Jim doesn't. But we can get into that later.
But that's okay. But so I agree with you, and I think and that's what makes college football fun is the carnage, and that's what you want. So Washington State, last time Utah State came in, they kicked our butt. And they went on and had a very nice season, and that was the Rolovich start. Remember when they ran that goofy option play on the goal line and got absolutely crushed? Yeesh. Anyway, so WSU better, again, I think Jake Dickert has got this team. I like the culture. They've got him going the right direction. They've had a bye. Guys are getting healthy because they had to play on the beach in San Diego and everybody sprained their ankles, 2 weeks ago. Now you get some time to come back from that. Utah State's going to run the ball. They're going to shove it up Washington State's shorts if they don't play good gap defense. And that if that's the case, I'm playing the run, and I'm going to say I'm going to play man on the outside. Go ahead and throw the football. I dare you, but take away what they do well, which is running the football. Make them one-dimensional. Bring the pressure, and let's see Mateer and company go apeshit on offense and score some points.
Another game, just real quick, that you want a couple more games you want to watch. You want Missouri to lose at home to Oklahoma. You want Virginia to knock off Pittsburgh on the road. Those are just a couple other games to keep in mind. And if somehow some miracle Florida State can somehow tomahawk chop the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, would be great. So it all shaping up good for them, Go-2-Guy.
Yes.
Mayor. Is it calling you the mayor? Are you the mayor?
No. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so Alabama, how many losses will it take for the Crimson Tide to be ranked lower than the Cougs? Like 5?
Well, yeah.
No.
Or 5?
7. They'll have to lose 7.
No,
games.
they're eliminated. If they lose this weekend, they're done. They're eliminated.
3 losses. You think they're done?
They're done.
Maybe.
I don't know about that.
I'm not buying that. I think they'll find a way to get in with 3. I do. It's Alabama. They always let them in there. Paul Feinbaum might have a coronary.
They're done.
They're
done at 3-3. They're done it.
Okay. Let's say they lose to LSU and we beat Utah State. Do you think we're going to leapfrog them in the rankings? No freaking way.
No.
It depends. It depends on what the score is of the game. I don't know.
Well, I mean, for us to go, 21 to, like, say, 16 or 17? I mean, a win over Utah State, next week we're going to be 20th at best or 19th. Of course, unless you get the carnage you're talking about, like we all want. But, yeah, I don't know. And then, the thing is that if LSU wins, then that puts them up higher in the rankings. So I think it's a no-lose situation for the Cougs on Bama and LSU this week.
Well, I just think you want to my point would just be you want to eliminate one of them. And the easiest one to eliminate right now is Alabama because LSU is at home. And LSU only has one loss in the conference, and Alabama's got 2.
Yeah. Well, this stuff is fun, though. I don't remember doing this since – what year was it when we were ranked like number 5 in the country and we lost the triple overtime game when Kegel came in and that whole thing? What year was that? I forget. Was it 01?
Yeah. I don't know. 03.
Was that the backward pass play?
Well, anyway, that year was one of the years that I enjoyed scoreboard watching so much because I kept thinking, God, we got as high as number 5 in the country, I think. And so I kept hoping for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 to lose so we could be on top of that poll.
Yeah.
This is fun. I mean, look at this. I've got all these games circled and stuff. I'm just fired up. I mean, teams that we need to win and teams that we need to lose. Like we need Boise State to just keep rolling. Mm-hmm. Keep rolling.
So on that little list you have, where do you have Washington beating Penn State or not?
Well, okay. You want to get into that again? You want to get into that again?
Well, I just go. Paul, have you heard this? What he has said?
Yes, I have. And so, first of all,
I fucking hate the Huskies.
I know you do, dude, but you can't do it against the benefit of what Washington State's doing to be relevant and to stay in this thing. So you want the Cougs in the playoffs.
So when is this game? Is this another 9:00 game they got? Are you going to just like tune into the Big Ten network and like?
I can't find the Big Ten network.
It's on. First of all, it's on Peacock. It's 5:00 on Peacock.
Fuck that, man. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing it. I don't care.
You're the only one of the three of us that knows the fight
song. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. We know the words to their song, don't we?
No.
I don't.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Makes my ears
So you
bleed.
still are going to be on the hill that you will not. So Paul, he would rather see Washington lose
by 50.
and us by 50. And then for us to finish outside the top 12. So his hypothetical would be that they lose by 50 to Penn State, 50 to Oregon State. We finish 13th on the outside looking in, rather than them beating Penn State or Oregon and us getting into the college football playoffs at number 12. And here's the big – he doesn't even know how much money that we would be losing, but that's okay.
Jim, if you could redo that statement, would you do it?
It's okay. If you admit you're wrong.
Oh, yes, I might redo that.
Okay.
If you do that, then I won't. My head won't explode. We'll let you back in. You're in the circle of love again.
Yeah.
So welcome back.
Do you want to?
Paul, you can see where I'm coming from.
I do. I get it, but you have to look at what Washington State. Here's the great thing, as you guys have talked about, they're irrelevant. It's pissing off college football because they don't want us to be relevant. So
and why is that? Why?
They want us to die, man. They don't want us in a freaking conference. Are you sure?
Okay,
because we're the Cougs and we're the Bees.
Sure about that? And if you are, and it is happening, why is that happening?
Look at it. It's all money. It's ESPN and Fox. They're driving this shit. They could have owned the West Coast. If they would have had these two schools go to the Big 12, they would have owned the West Coast, and there would have been no chance for the Pac-12 to rebuild. But they left that window open thinking we were just going to curl up and suck our thumbs and die. And we didn't. And we shoved it. And we're back in this thing. And that's what makes this thing so great. So every week that they have to talk about us is another week that drives college football crazy. Period.
Hey, time out. Don't let them off the hook yet. Are you going to take back your statement?
No, I'm not going to take it back because I think because of what Paul's saying about the bias against the Cougs, I think we lose all tiebreakers. Like let's say the committee's looking at us as one of the possible number 12 teams. Whoever else is in there with us, they're going to give the all ties go to them.
That wasn't your hypothetical.
That wasn't
your hypothetical.
Was. You want to hear my biggest fear? My biggest fear is that Washington beats Penn State and Washington beats the Ducks. Okay?
Yeah.
And we still. How much do you think that improves our chances?
A lot.
Are you sure?
Because it makes our win better.
Yeah, strength of schedule. It makes our win look better.
It makes that win in Seattle better.
My biggest fear is that the Dogs go into Penn State, win that game, go into Eugene, win that game, and then we're still on the outside looking in because of this bias that they're holding against us.
Okay, whatever, but that's not
because of the schedule that
that's not your hypothetical, though.
Well, I'll stick by my hypothetical. What the hell? It's just a podcast. You know? I mean, how many people are actually watching this?
You've got at some point have got to say you would root for your rival. It benefits you.
I'm not going to do it. I don't care. I'm not doing it. And Puck, it's the same thing. Like, Puck, you're shaking your head.
It's just unbelievable.
Felt the same way I did when USC was driving against Washington. We both knew that Washington victory was going to be better for the Cougs in the college football playoff rankings. But we were still rooting for USC to get that damn ball in the end zone.
Yeah, but I understand and recognize that if they win, it benefits us. It makes us look better. You understand? I know you understand that because it's why you're going to pull for Texas Tech this weekend.
I am pulling for Texas Tech.
Yeah, because it helps us.
Then pull for Washington. Then do the same thing for the Dogs.
Tech. I like
Come on, do it. We beat them, and it's the other thing too is we didn't beat them at home. We beat them quote on a neutral site, which is BS. We beat them in their backyard. Yeah. It's going to look better. If they split hairs at the end of the year and they look at Washington and they go, well, Washington.
Second, I know what you're doing.
Hold on. I'm not done talking. If they beat Washington, earlier in the year, and they have beaten now Penn State and Oregon, it's gonna make their win look better. I know you understand that. I know you do.
I do understand that, but the years and years of Husky hatred, I just can't put them aside for the greater good. I can't do it, Puck. But
it benefits your school. Your school. And you know how much millions of dollars are at stake for a university that's hemorrhaging money? I'll get to I know the story. We're talking about
why don't you learn the words to their song and
millions of dollars. Jim, do you want Jake Dickert to be the head coach of the team anymore?
Or Mateer to stick around?
Do I want? Yes, I want both of them.
Then you want them in the playoffs.
You want them in the top
so they can get more money.
I did think about that. I don't appreciate being the whipping post on this bullshit.
You're the dumbass that put this out there in the first place. You deserve to be the whipping post.
I left the golf course early, just to make it here on time for the podcast.
Come on, man.
I was playing really well. God, Elk Ridge Golf Course over in Carson, Washington, I think it is. It's awesome.
Oh, my God.
No one cares about your golf
If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Quit changing the freaking message, man.
Okay,
come back in here.
Hey, can we play some tequila while we're at it? Do you have a
Sure, I'll play it all.
How about running across the screen for us, get done, and then whatever the hair breadth or whatever the fuck they're
if it means they beat Penn State and helps us,
I guarantee. Okay, you correct me if I'm wrong, and you guys already do a good job of that, so I don't even know why I'm telling you to do it. But when you're watching the Penn State-Washington game this week, are you going to be sitting there going, yeah, let's go, Jonah. Come on, Jonah. Come on,
no, it's
Jonah.
not.
Yeah, nice run, Jonah. Yeah.
I'm not.
Gross, nice kick. Good job.
No, but I understand. Like, it's a win-win. It's a win.
Hey, Will, good job. God, why are they bringing in Desmond? What's the backup guy's name? Desmond something, right?
Paul, will you help him out?
Hey,
will you talk to him?
Hey, old guy, eat some more pulled pork or whatever that was that you stuffed in your pie hole before we started.
You're like 3 years younger than me, and your hair is white.
Yeah, but I'm not stuffing crap in a pie hole where I'm on a podcast.
Jesus Christ.
We're just trying. You did not get any hate mail. Nobody sent you messages saying.
Why don't you dye your hair like all those other guys on TV?
Because I like the white. Because it looks good. I want to have this up here. Because I'm getting ready to do Santa here. I got to be Santa here in a little bit, okay? Some of us have to dress up like Santa over Christmas. So the whole thing out of this whole deal is we're trying to talk you off the ledge, Mr. Moore. I get what you're saying, but you want your school to be successful. I don't get what he's saying. Right? You just want your school to be successful. We are. They're winning. They're relevant. They need help. And if teams that they beat that look like great wins continue to win, it makes us look better. That's it. It's a beauty contest. We want big boobies, okay? We need help from the other teams. Why are you
telling me all this? I already know all that.
I know, but the way you talk, it's coming out your a-hole. Mount your pie hole, okay?
It's
Let's
harder
go.
to push over the line than pass the dart. And
do you know how much money? Hey, Jim, are you aware? Jim, are you aware how much money they would get if they make it?
I'm not aware of that.
$4 million.
$4 million.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
you just don't want the $4 million.
No.
No, don't get me wrong. I want us to be in the college football playoff.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Yes, I
You
do.
said you didn't.
Yes, I do.
You want us at 13th.
My fear is that even if Washington beats Penn State and Oregon, and we all know that that's not going to happen.
Well, of course, I know it's a highly unlikely to happen, but it's fun to even think about.
Realizing, let me phrase it a different way then, so you boneheads can understand where I'm coming from. The likelihood of that happening is pretty much zero. Correct? So
it's not zero, but
okay.
If they're going to lose to Penn State and Oregon, why not just have them get their doors blown off?
Not at the expense of finishing 13th in the poll. All right.
Okay, so you'd be better with a 1-point Husky loss to Penn State than a 50-point loss.
Yeah.
No, it'd be better if they were to beat them.
If they win it, then it helps the Cougs. That's it. That's what our argument. Period.
All right.
You've already beat. This is what I don't understand. You've already beat them. You already can hold it over a year over their heads that you beat them, and they can come up with all the excuses in the world. And you beat them on their home turf.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. Who cares what they do after that? Like I don't care. Like I care about.
No, but you're
the number
out,
one thing is
anyway?
no. But the number one thing for me as a fan, I care only about my team only. That's all I care about.
Here.
And then the other thing I care about is what other teams can do to benefit my team. And them winning benefits my team. Come on over. We'll welcome you back.
Group hug. Come here. Come on. Come here, Jim.
We'll welcome you back. Come on.
We need you in the circle, pal.
Come on.
We have no control of what's going to happen anyway.
Big hug.
There you go. So come.
You know
back
what he's
and join
doing?
us.
Hey, Paul, you know what he's doing? He knows he's wrong, but he's just so stubborn. He doesn't want to admit it.
Okay, I'll relent a little bit. Well, how about like close losses? Can we have them lose and just have it be within single digits?
It probably doesn't help them as much as them winning. But yeah. All right, we're not going to change your opinion.
Oh,
all right.
God. All right. Well,
I'm not watching the Penn State Washington game with you guys. I just would be.
I'm not either, dude. I'm just going to look at the score at the end, and that's good enough for me. Heck, I'm working anyway, so there we go.
I won't be able to watch it because, like a true fan, I'll be there.
Oh, you just have to go down to your local IMAX, by the way, to tune in. How in the hell does that happen?
It's not just
one
there.
Theater in Spokane. You wait in line so you can go to the IMAX and watch Washington play football now.
It's just on on Peacock. It's just that you can go watch it at an IMAX theater if you want.
Lord. Oh.
The other bit of news is I'm curious if you guys have seen. Canzano was on my show on Tuesday, and we got to talking about Jake Dickert. And he offered this little nugget up about Dickert and a contract extension with the university and who possibly is getting in the way.
I am told there's a little bit of apprehension from the administrative side at Washington State. And it's not from the university president. It's not from the athletic director. The apprehension is coming from above the campus. You've got a board of trustees that just had sort of this financial crisis on campus that they have addressed. I think there's a little bit of apprehension from the athletic department and the university to go, hey, we want to extend our football coach 10 years. So it's why I think the Mike Riley approach might be a little more tactful here. But you can offer him something the others can't. You can say to him, look, if you want to coach all the way to your 51, here's how we do it. We just put that rolling extension. You could even say you get 2 years every time you win 6 games, up to 10-year maximum. So all of a sudden, Jake Dickert and his wife are looking around going, look, we have something in Pullman we can get nowhere else.
So just to kind of paraphrase that the discussion about a contract extension for Jake Dickert has gotten a little pushback from not Kirk Schultz, not the AD, but those who, are above them, like the trustees board of regents. Paul, you may have some more information on this. I don't know. And now I understand it. It could be probably, I'm just spitballing here, just guessing. Could be something about how the idea of offering someone, a 10-year contract worth whatever that would be, would a big extension at this time, right, with the school hemorrhaging money, with the unsettled future of the conference and all of that it probably has some in the Board of Regents and above the president that are a little nervous about that message that it would send to the rest of the university. So, I had Dickert on a month ago, maybe longer than a month ago, and he said, I want to coach 10 more years. That's it. And I'm done. I'm done at 51. He wants to watch his kids play high school sports, and he wants to be done with it. And he wants it to be here. But I also understand where the school's coming from. You just don't have an open wallet that you can pay people. So, Paul, what have you heard on that front, if you have heard anything new or something similar?
I think a couple things. The faculty wants raises. The basically media agreement needs to be ironed out, so at least they know where they stand in some financial capacity. Bill Moose used to do a 5-year rolling contract where if things were successful, whatever those parameters were, Canzano, by the way, sounds like he sat on a tack when he talks. Is he okay? Is that his normal voice? It's kind of high and squeaky, but anyway, that's all good. Not everybody can have the pipage like you, Puck, and you, Jim Morris. It's maybe a newspaper thing, but from that perspective, I think they need some more answers on, they know where they're going with the Pac-12. They're going to have a rebuild. They're getting closer to the TV contract thing. It's going to be a 5-year deal. It's going to line up with the ACC and the Big 12. So when the next contract comes out, all 3 of those will be in the same mix, which might make them nice partners to go back to kind of countermand what the Big 10 and the SEC is doing. And if I'm Ann McCoy and I'm whoever the president is or whoever's answering to the board of directors, I'm going to do a 5-year with rollover options. You get 6 or 7 wins, you go to a bowl, it's good enough, keeps going, and that'll get you to 10 years. That's what I would do.
Jim, I don't want to see the guy leave ever. And if he wants to coach 10 more years, he's sitting there right there, and he loves that community. He loves raising his kids there. They got to do everything in their power to keep these other schools away from him if jobs at the end of the year become available.
Well, yeah. If you look at it, your whatever program elsewhere in the country, and you see what Jake Dickert has done with this team, and going 11-1, and sure, you can say, hey, the schedule helped him. Yeah, okay. But I also go back, Paul, and Jason, I just think to myself, yeah, you're right. We should just, mop the floor with Utah State, and I understand that. New Mexico, we should beat them. All these teams, I understand we should beat them, but those teams are fired up to play us.
Yeah.
And you can flip it around. I mean, it's got to be, as long as we still only have 1 loss, then Dickert can still get the attention of these guys. Like, look, we can still make the college football playoff. I worry if we lose the second game, how it's going to go, because last year it didn't go too well. I mean, we started losing, and then we kept losing and losing and losing some more. But no, I'm with you, Puck. I mean, I think most Coug fans are thinking, God, I hope Dickert's there for the long term. But the realistic or skeptical side of me is just thinking, wait a minute, if Dickert's 11-1, he's going to have just like Mateer. I mean, he's the quarterback of an 11-1 team. He's going to have so many people coming after our quarterback, our coach. And as much as I want to believe that Jake Dickert is happy in Pullman, and I think he is, I think his wife is, I think his family is, I understand all that. Don't want to uproot him and go somewhere else. But what are we paying him, Paul? Is he getting
$3 million? No, he's
about
2.8.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's making he's making a good chunk of money. Is he not? Is he making as much as some of these other programs where he could make? No, but $2.8 million in Pullman. I mean,
well, yeah, and there's change coming up too, Jim, with the $20 million thing coming down the chutes in July. That a lot of universities are nervous right now. They're going to be able to spend $89 million to buy Riley out, stuff like that. I think there's not going to be as many openings as people think.
Yeah, I agree. Paul, I agree with you. I don't think there's going to be these massive amounts of openings, actually. I think people are going to actually be, because of the uncertainty with money, the uncertainty of media deals, the uncertainty of the future of college football, I think you're going to see teams and schools sit back and wait and be a little bit more patient than they've ever been. I don't think there's very few schools that are going to be able to be in the position of firing and buying people out and then saying to their alumni base, hey, now we need another $15 million, $20 million from you because now we need to hire a new staff, a new head coach, and then his entire staff. I don't know. I don't think there's going to be that many openings. And he's not going to USC. I mean, that's not happening.
He'd go to Wisconsin. He'd go back to the Midwest. And
that would be the one school that should make everybody nervous.
You can negotiate that in your contract. So it's a win-win for Jake.
And I would. And, I actually would put it in a contract for him. I would say, listen, here's your buyout for every other school. Your buyout will be less for Wisconsin because you know what? We understand. It's home. It's the school you rooted for. You grew up as a kid. And to do you a favor, we'll put it in your contract. We won't make the buyout as much for Wisconsin. And that might go a long way.
What about Wisconsin this year? They're not having that great a season, are they?
Yeah, they'll be 500.
That guy on the hot seat?
No, he's not on the hot seat.
Okay.
No.
All right. I just wonder though, will anybody come at him with $6 or $7 million a year offer?
I don't think so.
I think the environment, Jim, is financially it's a little rough right now. There's a lot of stuff. We talk about it from the Cougar perspective. Nationally, everybody's facing the same garbage and the same stuff, and they're a little nervous. My opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, the best thing that can happen, and I'm going to be talking out of both sides of my mouth, maybe 3 or 4 sides of my mouth. But if we were to make the college football playoff, Paul, take that hand off your face, would you please? And this might go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Look at you.
I'm known for saying shit that people already know. Okay, or otherwise dumbass stuff. But if we were to make the college football playoff this year, and even if we're one and done in that thing, Jake Dickert can stand there with every recruit and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we might have played a Mickey Mouse schedule, but you come to Washington State and we're going to give you a chance to win the national championship year in, year out, because look what we did this year. Okay? Did you guys already know that?
No, that's a good point, though.
Did I waste your time?
No, this is a good point. A little caveat on that. Those schools that left, those traitorous 10 that went bye-bye and are flying back to the East Coast and the Southeast and all the other places that they get to go to, they're sitting there looking back at Washington State and Oregon State, and they're going, those guys have a pretty nice path to the college football playoff.
Oh, yeah, because remember
what
those.
What are we doing? Why don't
remember those. Remember, because remember, right? It was our path to the playoff was going to be so much easier when we're in a bigger and better badass conference. How's it going, USC? How's it going, UCLA? How's it going, Washington, Utah, Arizona State?
Colorado.
I mean, my God, it's funny that Colorado's the only team that's actually legitimately
Oregon,
Oregon, of course, Oregon.
Because Daddy Warbucks is spending bazillions of dollars to buy the best guys they can.
Well, you know what? I might talk myself into rooting for Washington here pretty soon, depending on how long this goes. Because we could have not only success this year going into the college football playoff, but we would sustain that success because more players would be apt to stay, and then more players would be apt to come to Washington State because they realize, what the opportunity is there in Pullman.
And think about this too.
Let's
say Washington gets on a heater here, okay? They win the remaining games. And then
the only way I would root for Washington is because I want Jed Fish to still be the number one candidate at Florida.
That's what I'm getting at. So what if they run the table, they win all these games, and then Florida's going, hey, look at the Fisher.
Yeah.
Let's get him.
Carnage. We want carnage, man. Yeah. That's what we want.
No, Fish wants to be wearing that visor in orange and blue.
Oh, he can't wait to put on that visor. Can't wait.
He's got 4 pair of long underwear on right now in Seattle, and he's going, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous.
Man, cannot wait. He's miserable here. He's absolutely miserable. All right, let's talk to Jamie Vinnick. Jamie Vinnick joins us here from Coug Fan. Jamie's in the dark. Jamie, is everything okay? You're in the dark.
Are you okay?
You look like you're in a hostage situation.
I just don't have great lighting in my. No, I don't have great lighting in my apartment. Usually when we do this in the afternoon, I'm on campus. I can get some nice lighting, but Well, we go late, and this is all I can do. So
yeah.
We're just gonna deal with it.
What did you make of the rankings?
Honestly, when I saw Louisville at whatever it was, 22-23, I genuinely thought that they were going to be left out. I'm like, if this is where Louisville is, but I'm not totally surprised. I think, you look at 21-20, that's where they are in the AP and the coaches. Should they be above Colorado? I think so. I don't think Colorado has beaten anybody. I think Colorado is at 20 because they play in the Big 12, and, I know it's not necessarily just, let's just say Colorado probably got a boost because of who their head coach is and the two players on their team. But I digress. No, I was not overly surprised that they would be in that 20 to 21 range.
Yeah, I thought 2021, that was fine, Jamie. But let's get to the bigger news of the week. What the hell happened to our kicker anyway? How'd he hurt his hand? And I think it's all bullshit what they're trying to say, that he didn't hurt it. He didn't hurt it on the – yeah, there was something that happened there afterwards that he got flagged for. But, whatever. What's the latest with our kicker?
First off, do you have? I got to ask: is there like a betting line on how often you ask about the kicker? I mean, it's every week. I'm happy to talk about Dean, but I know you like. I know you like to play the.
Hey, you know what, Jamie? Hey, Jamie, just shut the hell up, okay? I'm already taking shit from Sorensen and Puckett today. I don't need you youngster coming in here, firing at me with both barrels. And by the way, if you were as old as me and Sorensen, Puckett would have been giving you a shit about, next time, Jamie, you're going to have better lighting there in your apartment. I don't know, just get like a light bulb and put it in there. So, yeah, but go ahead. What were you going to say about our
young guy discount? Oh, God. That was my first thought when I started kind of hearing rumblings about the hand. I'm like, did he really hurt his hand socking a guy in the helmet? It's hard to see on the replay. But there's an angle that it slowed down. You can see his hand kind of fold up. And it actually, sometimes, again, a coach is going to say that. They don't want to say, yeah, my kicker broke his hand swatting a guy on the helmet. The way I was able to kind of see the replay, or what I was able to see on the replay, when the guy hit him, because he didn't hit him at the ankles. He came in and hit him kind of in the midsection, and Dean's hand was caught in there. I don't know exactly how it broke in that sense, but his hand definitely got hit in the original punt, and quite frankly, that might have been what got him so hot. This guy just comes in, blasts me, and I don't think he probably knew immediately that it was broken, but he could have maybe sensed that this hurts. So no, I don't think it was from punching anybody.
Well, it's nice to get the guy that's been hurt with a bad back, so he can do what he's supposed to do and let the athletes compete. So when you do punch somebody, you rotate your fist. Okay, it goes like that. That's what we learned as athletes. You learn how to throw a punch a little bit. Anyway, long story short, let's talk about the defense in terms of what's going on. Buddha has his second straight pick against those knuckleheads in the sand down there on the beach. And they get a week off. They get guys healthy. They're going up against a Utah State team that is going to run the football. I mean, and their best receiver's toast. They got a quarterback that couldn't hit the ocean from the pier, but they can run it. And they're gonna pound you, and they're gonna go really quick. They're the fastest offense in the country when it comes to pace. In terms of trying to get plays in and how fast they try to get to the line of scrimmage, which limits your substitution. So, how is the defense going to be able to kind of handle that on Saturday night in Pullman with an offense that's going to be up-tempo?
Fake injuries? No, I'm just kidding. But I do have to say, if I got to be an equal.
Well, they got Chris Hudson on the team, so they could probably do it.
Oh, ouch!
Well, hey, come on,
ouchie!
Low-hanging fruit.
I got. You know what? I got to be an equal opportunity offender. I mentioned how often Jim talks about the kickers. I know every week I'm getting a question about the defense from Paul. It is what it is, but no.
All right.
I think it's going to be a good challenge because they have really tried to get that rotation going, especially at linebacker, with getting Keith Brown in, with getting Parker McKenna in. Well, that's harder to do when teams are going fast. So what's the easiest way to slow them down? Incomplete passes.
Pull a hammy emotionally.
Well, I'm not saying that. I don't condone that. But, various different, you slow down the rushing attack. You get them 2nd and 9. They ain't going to be as inclined to go fast. You get an incomplete pass and it's 3rd and 12. Okay, they're probably not going hurry up to the line. So the easiest way to stop them going fast, just stop them. I mean, and then I think, as you mentioned, they're going to rely on Faison a lot to run the ball, and their pass game. If Jalen Royals is healthy, if he doesn't have a broken foot, this game I still would be fairly confident in a Wazoo victory. But there would be an added aspect when you saw what happened against Nick Nash. It was San Jose State. Royals is kind of in that mold. So, but he's not there. I think that takes away a lot of their offensive firepower. And even if Utah State gets their points, I don't see how they can hold Washington State under 40, under 50 at home. If this is on the road, again, we've seen there's a home offense, there's a road offense. But at home, I think even if there are defensive issues, I think they're going to be able to outscore their problems.
Yeah, this is a real get-right week for this whole team. They're going to blow the fucking doors off these guys. They are. They're going to blow them out of the water. 150
for Mateer rushing, you think, or more?
Whatever. They're going to blow the absolute doors off these guys.
They do have a
bad... And this team got blanked by USC, for God's sakes. I mean, they gave up 62 to Boise State. They lost 50-45 to New Mexico. New Mexico's awful. They're going to beat the crap out of them.
It's funny. They should get the run game going. That's what I'm looking for more than anything. Utah State's giving up 242 yards on the ground per game this year. That's 131st in the country. That's playing one half against Ashton Genty. Granted, he had 186 yards in that half, but they didn't get the full 2 halves of Genty. Otherwise, he might have had 400. So this should really be a week where, Paul, you mentioned Mateer 150. I think it's reasonable. I think it's the week you see Parker get going. This should be you don't ever want to take an opponent lightly. We saw what happened when you took this opponent lightly a few years ago. You lost. You thought you were going to be cruising against San Jose State. You lost. You thought you'd be good against San Diego State. Or, excuse me, you didn't lose to San Jose State. But you almost lost. You almost lost to San Diego State. So I think
you should have.
Like I said to you last week, Puck, they got 7 wins, and there are now 4 occasions in which I've written my first story with the tone being that they'd lost, but they didn't. So, I think it is a game where, yes, you'd like to see the run game really get going. You'd like to really see the pass rush get going, although Utah State's offensive line actually isn't terrible. That's not one of their big issues like maybe it was for Hawaii or like it has been at times for Washington State. So I think the big thing I want to see is I want to see them get the ground game going. This is a bad run defense. They've been gashed by just about everyone they've played on the ground. Let's see not just Mateer on QB draws, but let's see some different ways to get Parker involved and have him get close to that 100-yard mark as well.
I agree. Go ahead, Jim. You got something for Jamie?
Yeah, I got a couple follow-ups here with Jamie. Jamie, first of all, I owe you an apology, and I'm sorry, but I have insecurities based off of last week's Old Crimson podcast, in which Paul and I did not appear on that, and you were so good that I'm worried about my job security, and I've got reasons to be worried about my job security because it's happened to me in the past, Jamie. So that's I want to apologize for that. Number 2. Jake Dickert again this week, and we've been earlier in the podcast here talking about his contract situation, his long term, whether he's going to stay in Pullman, maybe he goes, if he gets a better offer somewhere else. But he talks about the crowd. Puckett's talked about this, and we're not showing up in big numbers. And I just wonder if you think that's going to change at any point this season, or what do we got? 2 games left, I guess. But to me, it's kind of like I think Cougar fans are slow to warm up to oh, man, we're playing Hawaii this week. Oh, man, we're playing Utah State. It's not USC. It's not ASU. It's not the teams we're used to. How much of that do you think has an impact? And do you think that'd be one of the tipping factors for Jake Dickert if he did leave Pullman at some point?
Well, the first part of the question on, the schedule, I think it does have an impact. Now, that said, the attendance wasn't that good last year either when they were still playing the Pac-12. It wasn't that good the year before when they were still playing the Pac-12 and hadn't been, dealing with the realignment yet. But, I don't personally, it wouldn't affect me personally if I was still a student. I'd be at every game. But I get to a casual fan, yeah, it's a 7:30 kickoff against Utah State. It's going to be freezing. Yeah, I'll watch that from the Coug. I don't agree with that. I wouldn't do that, but I understand how the casual fan thinks that. I get how the casual fan's looking at Thanksgiving and saying, I'm not going back to Pullman for the Apple Cup. I'm going back to see them play a 2-win Wyoming team. Okay, yeah, I'll stay an extra couple days. So I do think the opponent has something to do with it. That said, I still think it would. I mean, Boise State plays the Mountain West schedule every year, and Boise State was packed when we were down there. And granted, there's a long-standing tradition there. It's not like they've had a drastic change where they had to go down a level, and they've been good, since the beginning of time, it feels like. But no, I think it would certainly be ideal to see more fans there, and not just more fans, but more fans after halftime. I mean, that's half the problem is it doesn't matter what the score is. It could be 42-10 at halftime. It could be 20-20 or 23-20, and the fans are going to leave. They're going to go get their beer, et cetera, et cetera. So as for an effect on Dickert, I can't – obviously I can't say for sure. I can't speak for him, but I don't think that will play a big role in if he were to decide to leave or anything. I think if a coach says, oh, the fan support wasn't good enough, there weren't enough fans at the game, to me, that if they say that as a reason they left, that it comes across as a cover for me that, oh, there was something, or cover to me, there was something else going on. If he leaves, and I personally don't think he will, I think he's going to be here for the long haul, but I don't think not having a ton of fans at the game would have a big impact on any decision he makes.
Paul, anything? Follow up?
Yeah, last thing, Jamie, and I appreciate your time and all the stuff going on, with regards to coaches and, players and, and things like that. The bowl game, coming up, which is kind of an interesting scenario. If WSU finishes 11-1 and Oregon, does what they do, they're probably going to end up going down to, the Alamo Bowl and, heading down there and hanging out. Are you going to hear possibly, it seems like every bowl game, we have all these opt-out things where the players will opt out. We love playing in a bowl game. I mean, heck, it's been 50 years since Washington State went. We couldn't wait to get to San Diego, but it's different now. So I know that's kind of throwing some shade farther down the track here, but do you see opt-out as issue for the Cougs if they have, an outstanding bowl waiting for them down the road?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think you'll have whoever's in the portal by then. Yes, I mean that's I think a different story than some of the guys in the past who have opted out to prepare for the league, and I don't think it will hit them a bunch this year. And the reason I'm not saying that about the portal, I don't have enough intel about that yet to know how many guys will already be gone and so on. But just kind of looking up and down the roster, there aren't a lot of guys. You look at the 2021 game. Abe Lucas is cemented as a draft pick. Playing in the Sun Bowl isn't going to move his stock really one way or another. He opts out. Henley kind of the same way with the LA Bowl. I don't see a huge issue with guys that year, and they've got a few guys who will be on NFL radars. I think when you look at a Kyle Williams, you look at an Esapole, particularly with the year he's had, but those guys could use the bowl game. And the Alamo Bowl is a lot more prestigious. There's a lot more eyes on the Alamo Bowl against the Big 12 team than the Sun Bowl against Central Michigan or the LA Bowl against Fresno State. So I don't anticipate it being a huge issue. Could a couple of the seniors opt out to prepare for the league? I guess it's possible, but I don't think if you look, and I'm not saying this off my own opinion, but if you look at draft boards and you look at where guys rank, there aren't a lot of guys currently for this next draft that are put on those boards where, okay, Kyle Williams is a surefire first rounder. He's not going to play. He's going to rest himself. Putting together a good game in a bowl game and putting on good tape against the Power 5 team, assuming that's who they play in the bowl game, that could go a long way for scouts. So I don't think that'll be an issue. Again, the transfer part of it is a separate conversation of how many guys will be in the portal by then, how many guys will have decided that they want to leave.
All right, Jamie, appreciate it. Go check out Jamie's work up at Coug Fan, Jamie Vinnick from CougFan.com. We appreciate the late visit there, Jamie, and we'll talk to you next week, my man.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
There he is.
Thanks, Jamie.
Jamie Vinnick again from Coug Fan. Check out all his work again at cougfan.com. You'll have when they go to a bowl game. Yeah, you'll have players opt out. It'll happen.
Yeah,
and it will be guys probably, as I just went through puberty there. It'll be guys who probably transferred here, but maybe not. I mean, I would ask those players just how did it work out for Max Borghi? How did it work out for him?
I don't know why you wouldn't want to play in a bowl game.
I don't get it. It frankly, it pisses me off. It really pisses me off. It really pisses me off. You have a school that invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, time, and energy in you, and now with the collective, you have a collective that's invested money into you, and you just go, I'm out. I don't want to play anymore. I hate it.
Can you put that in the NIL deal?
No, it's not pay to play. You can't do any of that. You can't have anything in a contract that deals with pay to play. Jim.
Yeah, it's just but I'm going to take the money out of it for a second. I just think it's a quitter loser mentality. I can't stand it.
Well, and that's
it drives me. It drives me crazy.
I mean,
I'm going to play with these guys for 4 years. You got one last chance. And now, listen, Jim and I didn't play. You played. You played at this level. You have one last chance to play with your teammates. One last time. And you never know what tomorrow is in store. That might be your last football game of all ever. And you choose to, I'm not going to watch it. And what I really don't like is when the schools let them be on the field and come back. Like we did it with Dayon Henley. We let him on the sideline. And I'm just like, no, you didn't want to play. Don't show up. I think it was Henley. I think he was on the sideline. But I know maybe he was. There was another player that was on the sideline.
But isn't that our generation, though? We're generational on this thing with the three of us. It's not that way. It's not looked at, the younger generation. It's, on to the next thing, bigger, better deal. And that's not always necessarily the best thing, in my opinion. That's why I asked the question.
I just, No,
yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Puck. Ohio State had some players that opted out of the Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl. I mean, that's why Jackson Smith and Jigba had the game he had during the Rose Bowl, because he was the only one. And he stayed in there and he played, and he got 30, 40 yards. And I mean, listen, when you saw players opting out of that, you're just like, well, then it's no one cares
I'm with you, but I'm sure there's agents out there that are saying, hey,
sure, yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on the Ole Miss quarterback that got hurt in their bowl game. You remember that?
Yeah.
He got hurt, but he opted to play in that game. And I remember it was a big deal. It was like, hey, that's cool that he's playing, even though he's going to be a high draft pick. And we haven't really heard from him since, if I remember right. God, I like that kid.
Yeah. Go all the way back to Miami. Remember the running back that blew his knee, and he trashed his knee. It took him 2 years to come back.
McGahee.
I think that really started kind of that. They pointed to that and said, see, he was having a great year, and look at that. Now it's taking him 2 years to come back.
I want to follow up on something that Jamie said where will slightly disagree with. One is the crowd. I mean, I just feel we could do this conversation every week. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with what the opponent is, the time, and then just the staying there. I mean, it's just, it's just expensive. Okay, but besides that, but speaking of that, I do think it bothers Dickert. I think it bothers him a lot, and I think it would be something that would cause him to look elsewhere. I think he looks at a school that's been through it, that his coaching staff has put a good product out on the field. They're 7-1. Whatever the schedule is, it is, but they are. And to come back home ranked in the playoffs, and if they come running out of the tunnel and they see empty seats again, I think it's going to piss him off. I just think – because you know what he hears a lot?
Well, that's what's going to happen this week.
I know, but he hears this a lot, and I hear it a lot. Oh, we're so passionate, such a passionate fan base. Yet, you got people that don't sell it out. And I think he sees that and is like, what else do we need to do? I mean, we're ranked and playing great. Why aren't you here? Regardless of who the opponent is. Like they're playing Utah State. Now, again, if we come back and they lose or barely win, Okay, I'll stand corrected. I think they're going to beat the crap out of them. But it's going to be fun as hell. Throw 50 on them. I'm not there to watch Utah State. I'm there to watch them. So, but I think it bothers them.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I mean, he brought it up again this week. And so, and I remembered what you were saying about that. And you've gotten a chance to talk to him this year. You have an idea more than a lot of us, on what kind of guy he is. And, it seems to come through when he talks about that.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think as a player and, as a coach, I coached in high school for years as well. You don't look up in the stands. You don't really give a crap, once you run out there, but as a player, the kids, you do the same thing. You're focused on the game. You know if it's full or if it's not full, when you run out of the tunnel. And after that, it doesn't matter. So I get it, but people will use that against Jake on the recruiting trail, just like they use everything else in Pullman against the Cougar fans, against the Cougar coaches and players. So all that is just an excuse that other teams will use to beat us up.
Hey, Paul, let me ask you something. I think I already asked this to Jim. I think we already talked about it. Okay, we Cougs get through Utah State, right? We're going to get through New Mexico, okay? Then we got the Beavers, November 23rd, down in Corvallis, and that damn chainsaw. I propose that your buddy Trent Bray, you know Bray?
He was born in Pullman, by the way.
I know, but you friendly with him?
His dad actually recruited me back in the day to Nevada Reno many, many years ago. So I've known the Braves family for years.
We need you to pitch an idea to Bray.
He's not going to do it.
You don't even know what I'm going to ask.
You want him to forfeit the game so that Washington State can win it and go to the national championship after beating Wyoming the next week. That would be my guess. That's something you would ask me.
You know, this is what Judge Leiby had in mind when he made the decision. It's time for the Beavers to do the right thing on November 23rd.
Dude, just beat them on the field.
And that is to go to, right, Jim, to go to the 50-yard line, start the chainsaw, and then set it down, and then take your helmets off and go Cougs.
Oh, you know what?
I think even the Beaver fans would be okay with that.
I do. I agree with you. I think Beaver fans would be like, our season's to shit. Best of luck to you. We'll give you the game.
Well, it's like the two hockey guys that were the two goons on each team in the NHL. They're going to fight, and they met right at center ice. They're getting ready to go, and then they come up and give each other a big hug and skate off into the sunset. That's what you want them to do? You want them to do that? No way.
Can you imagine? Jim and I talked about this. Can you imagine they get through all those games? They got Wyoming after that. But if it were the frickin' Beavers, let's say everything breaks. Yeah. Let's say everything breaks their. Let's say everything breaks their way. Everyone's losing in front of them, right? Everyone's dropping off. All the Cougs got to do is just win out. And it's the Beavers that end their chance at the playoffs. Oh, my God.
That would be the most Cougar thing ever. Oh, by the
damn
way,
right.
WSU, just all-time winning in the current Pac-12. They're number one. They're 57, 48, and 3 over Oregon State. So we've got the greatest record in the Pac-12 conference right now over those guys, just FYI.
That would just be so miserable.
It would be the most ultimate Cougar frickin' gaff ever in the history of mankind. And we get to play them twice in 2025. That's interesting.
I won't be able to make it down there, but that would be a game I'd like to go to. I'd love to go to that game.
Hey, I'm going to Ole Miss next year. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to the Grove.
Sure.
We're there.
This is the year.
Northeastern has a game that weekend.
Doesn't matter. I'm out of there.
This is the year of the Cougars, man. 25. Oxford, Charlottesville, Maui. Come on. Jesus.
It's great
Phenomenal.
To be a Coug. It's great
to be a Coug. It is a great time. Mateer, top 5 in the Heisman.
Oh, yeah.
It's a possibility.
Cam Ward wins it.
How about that? I mean, think about that. So it's amazing when you think of where we were 14 months ago. We were butter knives in the heart, man. We were toast. Thank God for Leiby. I drive by and I open a cold one up as I drive through Colfax and throw it out the window, hoping that he'll find it somewhere. Without him, we'd have been toast, dude.
Not sure I would admit that driving through Colfax. You open up a beer and throw it out.
I always avoid Colfax. I go the back way so I don't have to drive through
Everybody goes the back way. Everyone goes the back way. All right. Any last parting thoughts?
Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to take a parting shot. I was just going to ask Paul if can you believe how much Puck just he just ripped on Cam Ward last year like he was the worst quarterback we'd ever had, and look at him this year.
Well, and what did I say? I mean, granted, I didn't like how the season ended, and somebody got in his ear. It did something, basically. It changed the way he played. But you know what? The dude graduated from Washington State. He gave us 2 years, but you look what, and he was right. So partially, I'm pissed at Puck because he made fun of my guy, Cam Ward. And then he was always talking about John Mateer. Well, John Mateer stepped up and is having a great year, but he's not in the Heisman hype thing. He's leading his team to a 7-1 record. Unfortunately, the Cam Ward guy is leading his team to an undefeated record in a top 5 team and will probably be a top 3 Heisman Trophy guy. He's pretty good. There's a reason he got $2 million.
He's probably going to win it.
You think? I don't know. I think Gentry's got a chance. I think he's got a chance. If he continues to run the ball like he's doing, he gets over 2,000 yards. Here's another thing. Mateer may be he could have 1,000 yards rushing and 3,000 passing yards. I mean, that's awesome.
Here's why I think, I love Ashton Genty. If Christian McCaffrey can't win it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're going to tell me the running back from Boise is going to win it? I don't know.
Christian
credit
McCaffrey
to Cam Ward, man.
2,000 yards rushing, though.
No, credit to Cam Ward. I thought it was going to be a train wreck there. I thought
job,
he went to the worst head coach in the world, and he just and he turned around, and he's been great, phenomenal. He looks like a totally different quarterback down there.
Well, he's got some
maybe
dudes
that's
around him, too.
Is that a bad sign for Ben Arbuckle? I don't know.
No, he's got some guys around him that are helping just a bit.
It helps to have 2 unbelievable running backs, by the way. Unbelievable.
Excellent offensive line. And
an offensive line that has first round has draft picks all over the place. So, all right, that's it for the Old Crimson Cougar podcast. It's in the books. You can catch it everywhere on YouTube. You can listen to it on Apple and Spotify and wherever you find your podcasts. And, of course, up at pucksports.com. What's so damn funny?
I'm just thinking, you guys have a good time rooting for the Huskies this week, okay? Yeah, and then, what's next? You're going to donate to Montlake Futures? I mean, what else is on the horizon for you guys?
No, we just donate to the Cougar Collective, Jim. Yeah. That's how we roll.
All right. I was just amusing myself there, Puck.
Help us.
If they finished 13th.
Get us out of here, please.
13th, and you're like, well, I'm glad they finished 13th.
Neck punch to Jim Moore. Jim Moore.
All right, boys, we'll talk to you next week. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
You don't mean it.
Yes, I do. Jesus Christ.
If it's fun you desire, it's fun you're going to get at Flat Stick Pub. It doesn't matter what the occasion is, whether it's date night, guys night, ladies night, or large group event, Flat Stick Pub's got you covered. They have 6 great locations across the Pacific Northwest, from Pioneer Square to Kirkland, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. All locations offer the best pub experience in Washington. 2 rules at Flat Stick Pub: drink local and have fun. Pretty simple. So if you like to have fun, love local beer, and great tasting food, make Flat Stick Pub your next spot. Visit them at flatstickpub.com.